Defense is really easy. So we're always going to walk up to this corner, and we're going to throw a wall that goes across 410, like diagonally, like this. Then we're going to run over here. Okay, you stand in this back quarter, and you aim at this tip, this left tip of this crane, and you just left click, okay? And that throws your B orb. Now, why don't we run all the way B to throw that orb? Well, there's a couple of reasons. For example, maybe we have Viper ult. If we have Viper ult, we almost always want to ult A. Okay? But also, it's just nice to not have to run all the way over B to throw this orb. Because what I like to do, most rounds, is start the round over in this area. The barriers will go down. And I like to run across this way and see if there's anything happening mid. Good info for my team. So if I see nothing mid, you know, maybe I'll flank. Maybe. Maybe I'll rotate through kitchen, maybe I'll go B. But being centralized like this, where I can orb B, I can wall A, gives me the most impact on the round, in my opinion. Right? Because I could basically never have to play retake from this type of position.
I don't see mid, I don't see mid. Should be. Same you want to wall out.
There's nothing on B.
Should I wall out? No?
Okay, so this B orb, there's a really important factor to it. This B orb should let us walk yellow over here without being seen. Okay, so if you ever come over here to throw the B orb on the ground, make sure that that's the case. You don't want it to leave a gap here. Because a very common technique used by the defenders is you'll take like a fight back yellow, and then you need to be able to get out. And this orb provides your teammate the cover they need to get out. If there's a gap, they're going to have a lot of trouble getting out. And the orb also works both ways. Like, if you want to cross over to yellow, you can use the orb for safe cover that way, okay? Now, let's say the enemy team has a Sage, and let's say you're really worried that they're going to hit B, right? Because if Sage walls off this way and plants, we're never denying her, right? One of the pros of this orb and playing here is if they're coming B, we can orb up, and we can molly while our teammates come over, and the enemy team can't plant. But if they have a Sage wall, this is way harder, right? So what you can do is you walk into the middle line here, and you aim anywhere to the left of this caution sign. You just click, and this throws the normal like B long one-way smoke, and you can anchor B more heavily this way with this smoke, however you see fit. There's multiple ways to play around it, right? You can play back yellow, you can try hiding in the smoke, you can play a judge, get in one of these corners. But the idea is if you're worried that they might have an insurmountable advantage if you give up this space, like maybe they have Viper ult, they have Sage wall, you can fight for the space by playing over here with your orb, okay? So he's against a Sage, so see how he's coming over here?
You're wrong. Emerald 2.
That orb line up easy? Yeah, this one's really easy. Basically impossible to miss this one. All of the lineups I've shown are super easy except for the A rafters one. And what I want to see from us whenever we're playing on B side like this is lots of flank pressure. So let's say your orb is down, right? You've thrown your orb. And it's some random equal buy round. Let's say they throw their normal Sova dart A, there's noise A, and you're pretty sure that, you know, you spotted mid, you don't see anything. So what we can do is we can grab our orb. Like let's say they have a chamber and we know they've been tripping. Grab our orb and we just fast flank. Also important to note, sometimes chambers put their trip out here, which is a big mistake, because I want you just to shoot that the moment the round begins every time, if you see it there. But if his trip is a bit better, we flank with our orb. Sometimes you're going to see the chamber trip wedged like in this corner. If you ever see that, remember that you can just walk up this way, around over here, and you can drop down like this. And you just get right past the trip unseen. Alright, so we flank A a lot. Now there's one last thing to look out for. So normally your initiator should be controlling mid, but sometimes they're not going to do that. Like even in Radiant, sometimes they don't do that. Now, if the enemy team is throwing this orb or a smoke mid every round, there's not much we can do about this without our initiator, okay? So we have to kind of beg them to help. But let's say they're not throwing this orb. Let's say they're an auto-filled Viper or something, and they're contesting mid a lot, and our initiator sucks. This is where our favorite gun comes into play. This is the scenario where I want us buying op on Icebox, okay? On defense. So if we recognize that they're not smoking mid, our initiator is not covering mid, and mid's a big weakness in our formation, we throw our normal orb B, our normal wall A, and then we just lock down mid with an op. Alright, if they're rushing A, let's say we always flank and we want to mix it up, We broke their trip or whatever. Then we're gonna come A through either screens or rafters. If they're already coming out, you can just like wing a molly. Like I'm literally just throwing it. It doesn't really matter where it lands. Any molly in front sight's good. And then we can also come rafters. I like coming rafters if I have a teammate who's lower, back sight. And I'll tell them, yo, I can swing out high-low with you. And then they swing out and we swing out. And basically, they don't even need to be coordinated. You can just say, yo, Sova, swing. And then you just coordinate with them, right? So they don't need to do anything timing-wise. And you can also molly the bomb this way. Completely winging this. You don't need a lineup, okay? You just bounce it off the wall. A bit left of this line, I think. I don't know. Yeah, looks good to me. So if we're retaking A, but we've got control of the front side of this wall, really powerful to make no noise and come up onto 410 like this before our wall drops.
Yeah, he's rushing on me.
410.
Shot down.
Then,
Enemy down.
nice.
Middle one, nice. Flank. Coming
Right here.
to you guys.
Okay, yeah, there.
What a way to die.
Where's the mid guy?
Toxin screen down.
I love that.
One enemy remaining.
Recon.
I think you pretty much got the gist. I play in this mid and B area, mostly exclusively. When I've got ult, I ult A. If they're not orbiting mid at all, and my initiator sucks, I'll op mid. And on offense, I'm lurking a lot, mid and B long, and I default that B wall, don't forget that. I hope that helps. That's the Viper Guide. We breezed through this. It's a pretty simple map with a lot of complications when you're actually in the game. So the guide gives you like a good framework for how to approach your games, but you're still gonna have to think on your feet.